I think we're about time. We'll kickstart this event. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this historic event in Detroit, Michigan, home of the Ford. Everybody knows Ford in the world, and it's nicknamed as the Motor City of the world. So, how many of you know what Detroit? What is the actual meaning of Detroit? Good. Okay. Straight. So Detroit means straight. So it bridges two lakes, and the French people Detroit. So today we are a bridge between ordinary people and the fearless leaders, as the non-residing Indians. We are leaders who are honest and fierce, leaders who are sacrificing themselves and fighting for a noble cause. All this to improve the lives of millions of people back home in India. Suppressed over the millennia. And our passion against the mighty each and every day, only to survive. So today we are here gathered to be that bridge. I'd like to start off with Dr. King's. I have a dream, part of a speech. It goes like this. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promise note to each and every American who to fall their heir. The note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make justice a reality to all of God's children. This is part of Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech. So today I stand here, a third generation, I would say an opportunity to be here as a third generation person who comes from a socially neglected part of the society back in India. And I have a dream that we support our fearless leaders like Dr. RSP and other leaders who are sacrificing their lives for the greater good of the society and the world at large. With that, thank you. With that, I would request all of you to stand up as we sing the national anthem of our host nation, the United States of America, a country who has given all of us the opportunity to be here. Each of us had our own journey today, but the opportunity is as a host country that has been provided here. We should respect it. We should be very humbled by it. And today we have here our dear friend Dhruv. He would be singing us the American national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous
Let's continue to stand, and now let's sing together the national anthem of our motherland, India. And Drew, let's go ahead.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय हिंद
भारत माता की
जय
भारत माता की
जय
भारत माता की
जय
Thank you so much, Drew. Thank you, everybody. Please be seated.
We want people on this side, okay?
Okay.
Because this is blocking.
Okay.
Speakers needs to hold this mic.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Let's continue. So, again, good evening. I've not introduced myself. It's the screenplay. I did not miss it. So, I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I work for Spectrum Health to be the second biggest health system in the United States pretty soon. Geographically, I come from Vizag, woohoo. But psychologically, I come from a family of social workers, fighters, justice seekers, and problem solvers. A few to name is the ex-minister and ex-IAS, Sri J.D. Seelam Garu, who's been the strongest pillar of not just my family, but a big community in Andhra Pradesh, especially the area of Guntur. And I also have Dr. Tennedi Jairaj Garu, who is a world-renowned ophthalmologist and a social worker. And then we have my father himself. He's an ex-regional director in the employment department. He's also a lifelong social worker. So watching all these people fight for justice, they've been leaders in their own spaces. I learned a lot through my young age. And when I was young, my grandfather, he had this great, wonderful opportunity, very few from the community have, which is facilitated at an international medical conference for his services in ophthalmology. And once when he came back, so we had a gathering like this, and then we asked him like, so what is the biggest difference you've seen from your motherland and from your short trip overseas? And he said, just a couple things. He said, what are you versus who are you? I didn't understand, of course. So he had to elaborate. And then, so he said, there is a huge difference between that what and who. Overseas, they're asking what, which inquires about your skill and your education and what can you be your contributions. But back in the country, it is who are you, which is inquiring about your social status more than anything else. That comes first, even before you being a human being. So that struck me, and that blew me off at that very young age. And then once I stepped out of the shield of my father, after my engineering, I'm talking a time frame of 2010. I set out of my house to go through all the major cities. I lived in all major cities in South India, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. That is when I had a first hand experience of this rampant discrimination in every walk of life. You go for house rental, you see a board there, specific people only. You go for a job hunt, you have problems there. You have specific names, which will not give you the opportunity like the other person with that name on the resume. You look at food places, you still have the same problem. It says prepared by the touch of so and so or prepared by so and so people. So I've experienced all. When I saw all these, I was appalled by it. Like, why is this happening in 2010, 11 in that time frame? And then, with all my experience bound together and with my father's inspiration, that's when I moved to the United States. So that is my journey, just one piece of it, of how things are. And from my understanding, a lot of things have not changed back home. Majority are still continuing in a several different forms. Some of them have changed, some of the forms remained, and some of them has changed forms, but the problem remains. So today, I'd like to just touch upon three things I would want all of us to think about, and I will also request our guest here to um, give his opinion on three things: education, opportunity, and the law and order. Today, we have seen, especially in the space of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, we see rampant privatization of education. So what does it does? It creates a divide right at your childhood, a divide that has between the haves and the have-nots. And that these are not private people investing in businesses. These are public investments being made private. It cuts off a lot of opportunities. A lot of first generation people who got the opportunities in India, uh, irrespective of where they come from the pyramid, is in the public sector. So those are being taken away in a rampant manner. Vizag itself is a prime example. A lot of industries have been privatized. And then the last item I'd like to touch upon is the dilution of the law in the country. The law has been diluted such a way that people from Andhra Pradesh would know a public elected representative has murdered his driver and then door delivered the dead body to his home, just like a Swiggy or Zomato delivering food. That's horrendous. And then what happened? He enjoyed for a couple of weeks outside, and then he was caught, was put behind bars for 45 days. Now he's taking advantage of the dilution of that law, and then he's out now partying again. So there's lawlessness also increasing in fact. So I'd like all of us to think about these things. I'm sure there are several other things, but I would just like to touch upon these three, like education, opportunity, and law enforcement. And with that, thank you everybody for joining here in this space. I understand it's a working day, but all of you made a lot of effort. So I thank each and every one of you. Now, thank you. So moving on, we'll start, we'll have a couple of people come here and give their opening remarks as well. There are two people who's responsible for Dr. RSP's entire trip. We call it core team. We call them the pillars, the main folks, Dr. Venkat Marojanna and Raidas Mantanagaru. I would like everybody to give a big round of applause to both of them. Thank you so much, both of you, for doing everything that you do, the sacrifices you're doing. for the community. And I'd like to call upon stage Dr. Venkatanna and Roydas Anna for your opening statements. And I'd like to call Ganga ji and Mahesh ji from the Detroit team to present them with a bouquet. Ryan, you can go back. Thank you, Ryan and Venkatanna and Mahesh ji and Ganga ji for doing this. Now I'd like to request Dr. Venkat Maraji garu to say a few words.
హలో ఓకే అదేమో అక్కడ ఫీడ్ వెళ్తుంది యా ఓకే సో గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ ఫ్రెండ్స్ సమ్ ఆఫ్ యూ డోంట్ నో మై నేమ్ ఇస్ వెంకట్ మారోజు ఐ లివ్ ఇన్ బాస్టన్ ఐ యూస్ టు లివ్ ఇన్ డెట్రాయిట్ ఐ మూవ్డ్ I have been living in Boston since 2003. So I am a native of Jangam town back in Telangana. So just, yeah, I want to say a few words about this Global NRI Forum that is actually hosting this event. So when Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar decided to join the political, he started his political party, joined Bahujan Samaj Party and entered politics. Some of his, knowing Dr. R.S. I know him as a dear friend since last 15 years. And there are so many admirers and well-wishers and for what he has been doing to the community and the nation. So he has a big group of supporters throughout the United States. So we all jumped onto it and formed a support group. Like overnight, we got like 70 people in our WhatsApp group. And now that grew to more than 300 people. And just imagine, within a 1 year, we're able to organize this type of meetings in 10 cities. If anybody has built any organization, we know some of us, we worked on Telangana movement for a long time. We used to struggle to catch 10 people, 20 people, those were the days. But so it is, I think, testimony to what RSPE represents to our communities and our nation. So we are going from there. So we started our journey in Boston for this, went to New Jersey, then Philadelphia, went to Minneapolis, Bloomington, Chicago, DC. Now we are in Detroit, so we're going to Dallas, then Atlanta, Florida, and Bay Area. So that's a trip we're undertaking. So I want to say just a few words, why we are on this mission and why we want to, come together. First of all, let me thank all of you for joining today's, it's a working day at a short notice. These many people assembled, so really, really thank you. So I think we all are here, only one reason, only one common thing, that we all love our motherland, right? Otherwise, you could be spending your evening with some other way. That is our, common shared value. That is the reason we are here. And, in America, we are a richest, greatest minority, very successful minority, Indians. What comes to your mind when you talk about Indians in United States? Sought after engineers, doctors, investment bankers to, top Fortune 50 technology CEOs like, Microsoft CEO, Google, as well as, So this is the great story of India, right? But it's a very small part of India's story. We have to recognize that. India, as it stands today, after the COVID, we are at 131st rank in a country, in a total countries of 181 when it comes to Human Development Index. If you're all well educated, you know what that means is. So India as a nation is struggling to provide the basic living conditions to majority of the people. That is the reality. Okay, we are the fortunate few. We escaped, and we are in a different, sphere of our lives. But that's not the complete story. A country we just celebrated, we sang national anthem. It's a 75 years of independence. Okay, I mean, what is Dr. Baba Saheb, when he introduced the Constitution into the Constituent Assembly, he said, once the 26th January 1950, we all will be politically equal. Every individual, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, okay, gender or economic, uh, what do you call, how rich or how poor, doesn't matter. Every individual is equal politically. But socially and economically, there's a deep rooted disparities. Unless we correct these inequalities using the constitution, okay, the political democracy is in jeopardy. It is going to fail. Friends, after 75 years, see, I am a beneficiary of modern democracy and all the opportunities that India gave. I, as an individual, cannot complain. I grew up in a very humble beginning as a second generation educated. My father was a first generation. He struggled to even get a 10th class degree. He had to go to three big towns. He had to move around. He had to study a couple different mediums. He didn't have Telugu medium in Janga. He had to study Urdu medium or English medium. With that, from that, he struggled and he became a teacher. Because of his becoming teacher was a privilege for me. I had a much better education, but I went to a government college. I went to a national institute, one of the best institute in University of Science. All this, and I am also a proud beneficiary of reservation. So the country gave me a good opportunity. I, as an individual, cannot complain, but I was lucky. I was at the right time at the right moment. There are so many millions of people cannot claim the same thing. There is a severe lack of opportunity. There is a severe lack of undereducation. There's a severe lack of underemployment, severe lack of basic facilities for health. So some of you come from privileged background, okay? But we need to ponder what kind of a nation we want. A nation with this deep response, is it a healthy nation? Are we at a crossroad that we will explode? Or we work through our parliamentary democratic system to, resolve these issues and bring and make India a respectable nation? That is our choice. I think as people here assemble, we all love Mother India. You guys need to think about it. So today we are talking about Dr. RSP. Some of you know about what he has done. You know, coming from an IPS, going to Harvard, in a short span of 7, 8 years, he transformed. Anybody knows if you went to a government social welfare school. Okay, I went to a government school. There was a rain, there was no school, but at least there was a school. Okay, and those type of social welfare where poorest of the poor are studying, it transformed such a way that today his school system produces 200 doctors every year. I attended just a couple months back. I was in India. They felicitated all the students from the social welfare who got a seat in the medical school, and I was invited. I was like amazing if you listen their parents' stories and where they came from. So, and of course, there is a lot of list of achievements he has done. So he had started with 300 crores budget, and crores. With that budget, he touched 1 million students' lives in a short span of life. Just today, if you know, there are like 25 to 30 students coming this year as we speak, this month, to study masters. And these are some of the poorest of the poor people. I know a few of them. So the kind of transformation he has done, the kind of commitment, and the kind of leadership you need. You might be a good person, all have good intentions. We have seen people like, Jayaprakash Narayan, good administrator, but failed as politically because he hasn't done any big change. So R.S. Praveen has make a change. Okay, he proved that he has a commitment. When he resigned, he is a dear friend. I want to tell a little personal. He doesn't own an apartment. He lives in a rented apartment now. He lived in a quarter until he was IPS. When he resigned, he moved to a rented place. His family is living in a rented place now. His daughter didn't even complete a college degree when he resigned from IPS. So this is the kind of a person, not only with the integrity, but also you know great capabilities and leadership. So we have a real opportunity for us to make a change. So let's all it, see, we need to go in a different trajectory. As a politics, as I've worked in, Telangana movement, I know just about every politician, at least in the Telugu land. Um, every party is similar. I never even went anywhere near any political party. But when R.S. Praveen Kumar decided to enter politics, I thought I will fully commit myself and support him. With that, friends, I would like to thank you for the organizations for organizing such a wonderful meeting at short notice. Thank you, Teja, Mahesh, Ganga, all of you here.
Thank you so much, Venkatana. And I'd like to request Ryan to say a few words.
This is the mic, no? Hello. Oh, we have two different mics, sorry. One is for the streaming. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Thank you. Thank you for coming. This is a working day and giving us your precious time. And thank you very much for this evening. And we all know the community which is suffered the more, the community which is oppressed the more, the community which has gone through the Holocaust was the Jewish community. When they are suffered, oppressed, they rose up and the leaders emerged, entrepreneurs emerged, and businesses emerged. And now you see where they are. And I see that kind of leader representing the Bahujans. The Bahujans are the Jews of India. They're oppressed for generations. And I know R.S. Praveen Kumar for 15, 16 years. I knew him as a police officer. I knew him as a secretary of education. And I know him as a leader. So in all these roles he played, of course, I know him as a friend. I know him as a father of two wonderful kids. I know him a husband of a wonderful woman. In all the roles he played, he has done a beautiful job. And I believe and I hope that he will succeed in this new role called the leader with the hope and the change. With the, as Dr. Venkat Maru said, with a limited budget, he was able to make so many sportsmen, sportswomen, leaders, and IITs, IIMs, and now we have about 40 to 50, many more. But what we are tracking so far, the students who has gone through his leadership, we have about 50 to 100 we are tracking. There are some numbers, there are some, students who came and we are still trying to get in touch with them. So what person like me, what attracted to me as a leader beside a friend and a police officer and secretary is vision. The vision is the vision he has is not carrying any color, any caste, any sort of division. The vision is to make India and make Telangana a better place to live. And the vision is to make better leaders. The vision is to provide a quality education. The vision is to provide a quality health care. The vision is to provide jobs. We have such high end. The vision is to impart social justice. And these are the things attracted to me when he when he embarked on this mission. And as far as the results goes, we had over a couple of lakhs of budget. Dr. Aris, what is the Telangana budget?
2.5 lakhs.
Yeah, 2.5 lakhs. Lakh crores. So the 1,000 crores is 0.5%, less than 5%, less than 0.5%. So with that limited budget, he was able to turn around lakhs of the students. Imagine a leader like him gets the control of that 2.5 lakhs. Just imagine. So education, like us, we are here today. I think you would all agree with me. If it is not for education, do you think we all here today? I'm sure we may be here doing some hard jobs. But he always believed education is the key. And he proved with the results. And now he is coming to turn around the other critical part of the building blocks of the country, the political system. And I personally believe whether it's roads, whether it's revamping infrastructure, whether it's providing education, whether it's providing quality health, for all these things, the solution lies in our legislative chambers. In those legislative chambers are under the control of these crooks. All their focus is multiply their money. And they spend 1 crore, become MLA, more actually. I'm saying it's a very conservative number, 1 crore, but I heard in Telangana, some places they spent 50 to 100 crores. And if the guy is spending 50 to 100 crores, so what is his priority? To get that money back and to get ready for the next election. So his focus will be completely how to recover that money and make additional money for the next election. So leaders like, you asked me the question, Roy, tell me how he can be a better leader. Why he can be a better leader. The qualifications. Doctor by education and the police officer by a profession. Then he came to the Harvard. See his qualifications and the experience and the vision and the trust. So these are the things makes him the leader. So this evening, I request every one of you, just think about giving an opportunity for this kind of leader. And I personally had opportunity to interact with many of his students. In what I would like to share a little bit of this program, it's a study abroad program. As soon as the kids who started 5th class or 6th class, they're into the PG programs. They went to IITs and MBBS and all these programs. So we said, hey, let's start this program, a bridge program, give them opportunity to come to America. In a 6-month period, we got 45 students got approved visas. About 20, 25 of them came here, and another 25 on the way to come here. So what I request here, if you may say that, oh, I'm an NRI, I'm sitting in this country, what can I do? So he's looking for your talents. He's looking for your treasures. Some of you may be writers, some of you may be designers, some of you may be social activists, some of you may be political activists, strategy and planning. So we are not here to raise money. I'm telling you very clearly. We are here to introduce who is Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar. We are here to talk about what R.S. Praveen Kumar has done in that 9 year period. We are here to tell you that we can transform this country called India. Tell you honestly, friends, and I'm not going to go into criticizing Modi or KCR, but India has become a very dangerous country to live at this point. I'm not going to name, you know it, all the headlines. This morning I spoke to a commissioner of Nizamabad. I was asking, how can this happen? 8 years ago, 8 years old girl was raped. Her mother went to write constable exam, trusting this father-like figure, trusting this father-like figure to, to take care of her, feed her. This monster raped 8 years old girl. I told him, what is the punishment, Commissioner Sir? Life imprisonment. Who is responsible for these things? Where we are going as a nation, where we are going as a country. And there was a 9 years old, 9 months old girl was raped in Warangal a few years ago. Just think about it. And when something bad happens in this country, we say buck stops at leader. Could be president, it could be the governor. In this case, buck stops at Modi, buck stops at KCR. If the leader is right, if leader is good with law and order, if leader has a good attitude, if leader has a good character, the state and the nation will thrive. Making bunch of billionaires is not the result of nation is moving forward. Yes, we have a third largest number of billionaires. That is not the progress as a civilized nation. So think about, friends, and give it not. I'm not just saying R.S. Praveen Kumar. Tomorrow, some leader emerge from Tamil Nadu, some leader emerge from Bihar, some leaders from emerge from Maharashtra. Many NRIs went to India, they became legends. So as an NRI, you have a responsibility, moral, ethical responsibility, stand up for the nation that has given you birth. So, and thank you very much for this opportunity, and we have limited time, but please try to help R.S. Praveen Kumar in any way possible, whatever way possible. You could be CEO, CFO, IT worker, businessman. Please help him and support him. Thank you very much and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Ravanna and Venkat Maharajana for your speeches, and we'll continue. As folks, as you can observe, the theme here is to support the leadership. Like I said in the beginning, we are Detroit, we are the bridge, we are the strait. So we'll do everything possible to help these fearless leaders get to the goal. And to continue on, I'd like to request Gangaji from the local Detroit team to have a few words, please. Come on in. Yep.
My name is Ganganiti Sivapandian. Again, thank you for coming. I'm a product of social welfare system. Okay, I grew up in Dharavi, Bombay. I was almost like a slum boy. My dad was a social worker. He died at the age of 48. I was just 10. Two of my best friends, one died drinking, the other went into this, bad activities, so he's no more. So then I went to village, nothing we had. In 1971, Karunanidhi brought this hostel. So because of the hostel, I got the boarding, lodging, 2 set of dress, and what else? Haircut, everything free. I learned up to 11th grade, and then I don't know what to do. When I went for my certificate, The principal asked me, I need your mother. Why? To get the certificate, you need her signature. So I said, okay, she's not well. I went out, I signed her signature and gave it back. And then I was coming out. One boy was standing outside, in a cycle. He's a Muslim boy, Abdul Qadir. I still remember. He says, Maka, in Tamil Nadu, Maka, kya karna hai, like. So, because I'm from Bombay, so I know Hindi, Marathi, and also he used to talk a little bit of Hindi. Then he said, I said, I'll go back to Bombay, pata nahi kya karna hai. And then he said, I said, what are you going to do? Yaar, pata nahi, a form le liya, I bought this form, it's 10 rupees form, I don't know what to do, Mala, kaun sa form? Polytechnic ka form hai, Polytechnic. Mala, theek hai, mere ko de do, I'll give you 10 rupees. And my mother always used to give me money. Even always, she used to give me the money and tell me not to spend. Emergency, right? Same thing I used to do with my kids now also. My son also, they always used to give money, under $200. So I took the form. That's the first time I know about the Polytechnic. I don't know what it is. I go home and within 2 days I had to fill it up, right? I fill it up, I did all the paperwork, meaning I signed all those paper in some, green ink and whatnot, whatever fake thing I had to do, I did everything. I went to the Polytechnic on the last day, gave it, and I got admitted. And that was electronics, okay? And I did my electronics, and in those days, electronics was number one. And 79, I finished, go back to Bombay as I got into Siemens as a senior engineer. Out of 5,000, they selected 22. I was one among them. And I went to the whole process, group discussion, everything. Because I was a smart kid, so I was able to then hardly 2 or 3 guys were diploma holders, and rest of them were IIT, Bombay IIT and all those things. So I survived, I worked in Siemens for 17 years, and I was the only guy. Within 5 years, I got promoted at offices as an executive. That's why I got my wife, because she saw as an executive guy, from Orissa. Siemens executive, right? Yeah. So then I was not satisfied. I want to get out. My mother used to tell me always, meaning, I was working in Siemens, I was a highest paid employee in those days. Still, she used to tell me, if you are here in this country, you are not going to improve. In colloquial language. So she know. So she's the one who gave me. Then I went to Dubai, actually, not Dubai, Manama, Bahrain. I got this thing. But they didn't send me the paperwork, because I was doing technology and whatnot. Then 97, again, one more opportunity came. At the age of 37, I left my 2 kids alone, and then I came here and I survived. Now kids are settled, so I'm a citizen now 25 years. So where I'm going is the education. Education, whatever you're doing, that is a key. If education is, everything will go away. So that's what he is doing. Social welfare, The last thing before I complete, there are 3 things, which is very bad in the world history. One is slavery, second is casteism, third is patriarchy. But in India, 2 good things has happened. The patriarchy has gone through this Hindu code bill and other things, because otherwise women are basically, the lowest of the lowest, till 1947 they treated like that. So that's a good thing. Casteism, it's also going because of affirmative actions, right? I mean, a lot of good things has happened in that sector, we cannot say that, But if you look at the slavery, they were freed, but nanga chhod diya. They were left naked. You see, there's nothing. In USA, 98% of the land is owned by whites, just 2% by the Afro-Americans. Whereas in India, I mean, if you look at this, there are all kind of people here, right? So things are going, things are better, but slavery is not going. Where I am going is India doing is well in that section, but Western country is not doing good. So, I mean, we'll have to be positive. That's what I'm saying. So what you are doing is really good. Thank you so much. And I think the message what you are going to give, all of you guys, all of us Indians, should send a message back that we got a new guy, so please support him, right? I think that is because what's happening, I know the moment you are in America, 2 things happens. Your age comes down by 25 years, right? Number 1. Number 2, whatever you say, million people will listen. Believe me, they want to be friends with you and this and that. So you got influence, million influence. So do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. as they say in the United States. There's new kid in the block, and he's not a kid, of course. He's the most experienced one, and he's Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar. So thank you so much, Gangaji. I'd like to resonate a couple things with you. My wife also pushes me to do better for her shopping, not otherwise. She can get more pocket money out of it. And I'm telling her this, she's about to finish her MBA in the United States. She's just a couple courses away from finishing it. So I'm telling her, like, you only got couple semesters and then no pocket money. With that, one, sorry? I don't think so. But yeah, going ahead, the women play a very strong role in the society. They changes. We have seen that very evidently in the case of. I'm a big fan of New Zealand's Prime Minister. She's done a fabulous job during the pandemic. I'm a big fan of her. We've seen women leadership. Women leadership should thrive. We have seen strong changes, moving away from the patriarchy when women are in a leadership role. Citing the strong need of women, I would like to now request Trupti ji to come up on stage and give her remarks.
Good evening. Hello, everyone. I'm Trupti Bankar. I'm born, brought up in Nagpur, Maharashtra. I graduated from India and I did my engineering in computer tech. Then I started teaching MCA student. I got married in 2003 and I started my journey in USA, Michigan. Presently, I work in IT. Along with my professional life, I am also socially involved and associated with ANA, Ambedkar Association of North America. Currently, I'm serving the board and I'm one of the founder member of the organization. I try to do as much as possible in my capacity, balancing my professional life and my family life. ANA formed in 2008, registered as a non-profit organization which believes in Dr. Ambedkar's dream and vision for uplifting the marginalized section of India. ANA instituted Dr. Ambedkar International Award in the year 2021 to honor individuals, organizations for the exceptional work and significant contribution for the social change. That time, I came across Dr. Praveen sir. Praveen sir's profile in 2020 when ANA honored Dr. Praveen sir as a recipient of this prestigious award. As one of the hosts for that virtual event annual gathering, I started looking for YouTube videos, TED Talks. Then I come to know about Dr. Praveen sir's values, principles, social justice, and especially his works towards empowering the woman. We recognize your immense work in uplifting the children of the deprived section of the society by doing outstanding work in the social welfare residential schools. This helped many students, especially girls, from the deprived communities from Telangana to achieve what was unimaginable for them few years back. So, Swero payback movement initiated by you, sir, produces many outstanding students. Your work proved the social change can be achieved with the vision and the dedication. We are looking forward for your valuable guidance. You motivate to all the young generation. Your immense work, leadership, your contribution to pay back to society is really appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Trupti ji. Moving on, we have a couple of testimonies from our sphere organizations. Just like Triptiji mentioned, we have kids who've been in these institutions. My father has also studied in a social welfare organization back in the day. And the other day when I was speaking, he told me that they used to give him 25 rupees a month as a stipend back in the day. This is 78. And then kids back in the day, they used this. The social welfare hostels used, he tells me that they used to be like a shelter just to be there to eat some food, not, you have all sorts of animals in the food also. But that's where they used to be. And then they have no other choice with 25 rupees. They had to endure all that. And, they have to stand up, endure all that to be successful. Forget about these small hardships. Look at the big goal. And now we have a couple of our friends here. Who are ready to give us their testimonies. So first, I would like to request Rajender, even though he graduated before Dr. Praveen has taken up the job, but I'd like him to say a few words, please. Rajender.
Good evening, all. Can you hear me? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so my name is Rajender, Rajender Kodapaka. Back in India, I'm from Warangal, Telangana. And yeah, I studied in social work school. So I came from a middle class family. My father did not study, so he don't know how to write and read. He know a little bit. He can manage to do a signature. That's it. Other than that, he can't really read and write. My mother and so we are the first generation kids who actually graduated and staying in US. So I'm really proud that I am a product of social welfare schools. And so my father is actually, though he did not study, he has a progressive ideas, and he was thinking about oppression, and also he was actually very good. So he want to us kids. So we are three kids, and my brother and my sister. So he want always do whatever he could able to do, so that we'll study well and we'll settle in a life in a good manner. And so he put us, my brother and myself, into social welfare schools. So I studied my from 8th to 12th in social welfare schools. And uh, so so then I studied my BTech and masters. Then I came to US, and I started hearing some news, because I know some my friends or family friends started going to social welfare schools. I think in 2012 or 13, I think so. And also I started hearing about Spheros movement. I was a little bit interested, like, oh, really, what's really happening? And my brother was actually active participant in Spheros movement. So he used to tell me about Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar sir. I was like, oh, something is really is happening in social welfare schools. And because I'm a product before R.S. Praveen Kumar sir, and I just want to do a apple to apple comparison, so that you can understand what really happened before and after. So when I was studying, we used to get a protein maybe once in a while, maybe festival. So if you have some good festival, you get some protein. So you're happy that, oh, you're going to get some protein. And we used to get egg, or maybe sometime, maybe once in a week or so. But after SAR took over, I was hearing like, you get protein every 2 days. That was like, I was surprised, like, oh, you get a protein every 2 days and 3 days, and egg every day, and you get some protein, nuts and everything. I was really surprised. And also, though I was a good student, I was one of the top 5, and also I was a topper in schools and college, but I didn't hear anything about IITs. So though I was a topper, but I was good at my class, my studies, but no one was really giving any direction, like, okay, this is what you should do. and no one really providing any guidance to us. But after Praveen sir took over, it was like everyone is going to IITs and NITs. Like, what? What's really happening? I was really surprised, and I was really happy. And in one hand, and I was jealous as well, because no one was there as to really show the path. Because if Praveen sir would have been there at that time, we would have maybe studied in IITs or IIMs. We would have been in a different position. I'm happy that I'm here, but I would have achieved something else more than what I really imagined. So I used to have dreams, but no one was able to support us. And also, I never heard about stocks until I really come to a IT job. But if you talk to any person in the social welfare schools, then they know how to buy the stocks and how the market works. Isn't it really good? Like, so and also about uh, not only the education, sports, and you name it. So I didn't know any C coding or anything until I really joined into the engineering. But if you go in any school and ask them, they know the coding, and they are real fluent in English as well. You can observe now, right? So I'm really trying hard to put my words in front of you guys so that you'll understand something. But I'm still struggling after 15 or 20 years working in IT jobs, doing BTech and masters. But if you go to a 8th class student in a social first college now, they will able to speak English fluently and with more confidence. So that's a transition he has done from previous generation to this generation, and I'm really happy that Sir is here. So I'm really big follower of you, sir. I'm really happy that you're here, and Sir took over some Sir want to do things to the more broader way, not only schools, and he took over a different role now. I really happy that he's going to do a very good job, and so I'm really happy that Sir is here. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Rajinder, for really explaining the transition of before and after RSP. Next, we have, thank you for being patient this evening. I know we have kickstarted a little late. We have one more testimony, and after that, our Supreme Sparrow, as they call him, back in home, and our dear leader, he'll be coming up on this pretty soon. So next we have Dinesh from Cleveland. He quietly whispered in my ear saying that, hey, I have an interesting story to tell. And I'm like, okay, the mic is yours. Come on in. But you got short time, buddy.
Oh, first of all, thanks everyone, and it's great standing here in front of you all. And I have an interesting story, yes, and in fact, I'm meeting Praveen sir after 7 long years, and the story begins as I have a good friend of mine who introduced me to Praveen sir, and that's the way I came to know how the services he provides to the social welfare schools in Telangana. And I live by Mahindra Hills. It's not too far where I live. And I got a call from my friend saying that, hey, I have Praveen sir. He's a secretary for social welfare schools, and he needs some help buying some guitars and donate it to school in Mahindra Hills. So I went across and I went on shopping, and I make sure that the invoice is good, and I made it happen, and that's where I met. So I got a call. I had to meet Praveen sir, and he actually didn't really had time. I went to his office. He was very busy, so he asked me, "Why don't you just hop into my car?" And I was like, "Okay." I'm with IPS officer. I'm like, "What?" And I just got into the car. I see gun in his pocket. I'm like, "Oh my god." I mean, I was like, I don't know what to say. I didn't have no words to explain. I was just shivering because I was not too old that by then. So I'm like, okay, so sir told me this is what you have to do. And I'm like, okay, I got it, sir. So it's just a 3 minutes of conversation we had in a car from his office to secretariat. I'm like, wow, that's incredible. And I'm like, okay. And the work is done. And I came to United States in 2015. And I come from a background where my father's property is just a job. We do not have anything. So I came up with my dream to become an entrepreneur down the line. So, and one day during my master's, I have master's from Virginia, and I travel back and forth to Cleveland. So I was driving around 60 miles per hour through Pennsylvania from Virginia to Cleveland. And I don't know, the deers are crazy there. A deer just right in front of me. I couldn't do anything, just hit the deer. And I ended up leaving my car in a junkyard in the middle of the night at 11. It is too cold. And I was like, what do I have to do? I had like $50 in my pocket. I don't even have money to go back to Cleveland. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And like, Praveen sir, let me see what I can do. I texted Praveen sir and like Praveen sir, oh like Praveen sir, then connected me to Roy. And Roy Anna is here. I'm meeting Roy Anna after 6 years. I never met Roy Anna in 6 years. This is the first day I'm meeting him after the whole long journey. And I still remember the day I had to reach out to Praveen sir, and it's all about the network. It is wonderful. And I feel blessed to talk in front of Praveen sir after too long, and I didn't expect that this would be a time I could express my thanks to Praveen sir, and how hard it was during that time. I don't know anything. It was just a year I came into United States that moment, and then I started, and everything went well. And then I started reading about Praveen sir, and then he became one of my idols. And I started working on what does he do, what is he doing to the kids, and then, like, I was motivating myself, and I ended up at a point where I have to be a part in developing the society, where the education is really, really important for a person to serve. So finally, here, I just started my company in the month of January. So I'm finally an entrepreneur here, and it's an amazing experience, and it's really hard to be a entrepreneur, and it's sleepless night. It's a wonderful experience, I would say. I'm not scared of anything because no reverse gears. I like, all right. So I have employees with me now. So now my responsibility is to take care of my people around in India who are living in a dark. We want light in their lives. And the light, and I got inspired from the people such as Praveen sir here and Roy Annas here. And I really thank you for giving me this wonderful few minutes to talk. And you look wonderful, Teja. Thank you. And everybody is here. So, end of the day, I would like to sing few lines to Praveen sir. He was looking at me. Is anybody wanted to sing? Because I like singing. So I'm pretty. I don't think I'm young, but I would like to sing few lines of Kishore Kumar. No, I can just sing. This song called "Aane Wala Pal Jaane Wala Hai." Just few lines. Ah, hey, आने वाला पल जाने वाला है आने वाला पल जाने वाला है हो सके तो इसमें जिंदगी बिता दूं पल जो ये जाने वाला है हो आने वाला पल जाने वाला है. Thank you. And one kind note, Praveen sir, Haimat, who sang a wonderful song for Swearers. We are working on a project, and we are sooner or later in coming few months we're going to release a song. We both are coordinating it. That's about motivation for all the youth. So once again, thank you. It's wonderful being here, and thank you so much. You all have a great night.
Thank you, buddy. That was indeed an interesting story. And I'll tell you one more interesting thing. I was one of the folks that Ricer called me for your overnight journey on the highway. But I'm glad you got help. But yeah, no reverse gears. I've seen that. I've heard of it. It's very motivating. Um, before we have Dr. RSP sir speak, there's one video I would like all of us to watch. It's on to your left, or mostly onto your left and straight. Ryan, ready?
So there is a movie in the Amazon Purna. It is the real story of Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar. Some of you know that Purna Malawat is the mountaineer. She just recently, month ago, she Purna Malawat. It's a beautiful movie, highly recommended for the family and the kids. Highly motivational. The true story of Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar, where he started and how he took a tribal girl to the top of the Everest. It's in the prime. The movie name is Purna. And by the way, this whole audio visual done by the students. We have not touched it. And she took only, her name is Ravali Jajula. She's a master's student in Sacred Heart. And she took less than 24 hours to have this visual ready.
All right, folks, we're All right, we're almost there. He'll be here in just a second. First, I would like to call upon stage Vinod Garu to give his remarks and introduce Dr. RSP.
Good evening, everyone. So we just celebrated 75th Happy Independence Day to each one of you, and Happy Vinayak Chavti. So because of a very short window of time, and we are interested to listen our Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar's remarks and his vision. So I will only put few bullets to introduce him to our community. So at least he can take up and speak his opinion and vision and mission going forward. It is my honor to introduce Dr. R.S. Praveen Garu to our community. And he was born to a poor family, and we all know how difficult it is to come up in life. He faced so many challenges that's very difficult to even go to school. So give you an example, he could not even go first grade, second grade, directly started a third grade, which tells us how difficult it is. And you have to learn about his parents' story. It's very remarkable, very inspirational. I do not want to go there because of lack of time. At the same time, in the schooling, very young age, he planted a seed that only education will solve the problem. I don't know, some people get that idea and some people deliver to it. I would say, in terms of technology and delivery of any mission, we are witnessing Elon Musk here. I do not want to compare to individual, so I don't know. He got that plant of seed in the education from the childhood, and he started implementing those. And you have witnessed just now in the story how many kids he basically brought onto were underprivileged. They could not even go to school. Now they are at like a stage of helping a lot of people. And I'll say with the fact because I never know Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar Garu because I always look at politics in a different perspective. But the people who got benefited from him called me personally and said, and the way he helped out of his reach, and people have benefited from him, and they said he's the guy, go-to guy. So that's where I got connected. I started looking at videos and all. I was so impressed. Then Venkat and also Naveen from Long Island called me. You should join Dr. RSP's vision and mission from an outside of the world. I understand you are into business, you don't want to get into this. I said, okay, that's fine, I will join. So that being said, and his vision and mission is completely on the education, which is my prime motive to join Dr. RSP Garu. And with the 1,000 crores of budget, where he could take it to the kids, and where he brought the kids, how he brought the empowerment to the kids. And now you look at one state having 2.5 lakhs crores of budget, what he could do, what he could deliver. So that's where the leader with the hope, leader with the change, and wanted to accept a role from retired IPS, where he could have become the DGP, right? Deputy General of Police, because he was almost there at an additional DGP. So he left that job and took this challenging activity. So with that being said, we all have to support him. And I wanted to welcome Dr. R.S. Praveen Garu onto the stage and say his mission and vision to our community and what exactly he is looking from us to help him to reach that goal.
Thank you, Vinod Garu. Dr. RSP, sir, welcome. We've all been waiting for you. So now the stage is yours.
Thank you, Teja, for a wonderful anchoring. Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and then I'm really honored to be here today. It's really overwhelming, and then I came across a lot of stories. It's not that I came here to inspire you to serve your motherland. In fact, I got really inspired by the stories of transformation in Detroit. Nowhere I have heard such a wonderful stories of Rajendra, then Ganga, and many more people. So, including the compeer Teja himself. So, there may be many more stories. Every one of you in this hall have a story. Story to tell, story to inspire, story to transform, and story to pay back. So it's really overwhelming today, and keeping firmly in the mind that today is a weekday and tomorrow morning you have to get back to the work. So I will not spend too much time on what has already been told about me. So to save the time and the energies. So friends, I just wanted to share with you why I have not built home, although I have been getting salary of 2.63 lakhs per month. My wife is also working. She is also a senior government servant, and then she also gets a salary of about 1.75 lakhs. She is a director of marketing. One of the important reasons why we have we have been postponing the building of home is we don't want to lose focus in transforming the lives of people. I know how big hassle it can be to build a home. So, and then we thought it's not very important. Like, as long as you're in government service, government gives you a very good bungalow or quarter, and the government provides for everything. And then once you are, out of government, still you can, you're with your pension, you can still have a nice place to stay. But we wanted to stay focused on the mission of producing Rajendras and producing Gangas and producing every one of you who are, staying in this. Otherwise, it's not that I could not have taken loan and then build a home. So it's not that. It's not that I'm poor, that's why I'm not able to afford. No. So we wanted to focus on the transformation. We wanted to replicate as many transformational stories as possible in the in the heart of or in the land of in our motherland. So that's one of the reasons why we have postponed the idea of having our own home. Friends, I have no words again to thank Global NRI Forum for making this possible. I think if at all, if there is any Nobel Prize for patience, perseverance, and hard work, and indefatigable attitude, that is Global NRI Forum led by Venkat Maroju and then Roy Das Mantena. So these people have been planning for the last 3 months. In fact, I am in the midst of a yatra. So I've been literally kidnapped by Venkat Maroju and Roy, and I've been placed in Ankan Maharaju and Roy and other friends in Global NRI Forum. They have been placed in the flight, and then I just came straight to Dubai, and then from there I came here to the US. And then ever since I landed in the US, the moment I landed, Roy opened a Twitter space. I'd not even go to home and then take some rest. So Roy said we must start a Twitter space because India is excited to listen to your story of Dubai and then your story about your feelings and the place where you have studied, that is Cambridge in Massachusetts. So India is very eager to listen to your story. So that's why we started Twitter Space the moment we landed here. So from there we went to New Jersey. From there, from Boston to New Jersey, New Jersey to Bloomington, Bloomington to Chicago, then Minneapolis, and many more places. So and then Detroit is the current stop, and then I'm really thankful to the Detroit Telugu community, Detroit Ambedkar Association of North America, and all other friends from Detroit, and then well wishers of this global NRI forum. So friends, today I feel, on one hand, I am really happy that you all have gathered here to listen to what I am about to say or share your stories with all of us. At the same time, I am really distressed and deeply concerned about our motherland. Yesterday, 4 women have died in a place called Ibrahimpatnam, just 15 to 20 kilometers away from, not even 15, 10 kilometers away from Hyderabad International Airport. What was the fault of these women? On August 25th, 34 women, poor women, were operated upon for family planning. Family planning operations. So for family planning operations, these people were operated upon by the doctors in a government medical facility. And after 4 days, most of these women get admitted in the hospitals and then 4 die. When you work back in the investigations, and all these people were operated upon with infected scalpels, infected needles, and in an infected, unsterilized operation theater. This is the sad state of our state and the country. All these 4 women who have died, and then 7 more are undergoing treatment in various hospitals, various so-called corporate hospitals. These people would have given birth to people like you. Is it not? Our mothers, they gave us birth, and then they brought us up, and then we came here, and we worked very hard to come to this place, and then we are living in a comfortable life. We are living a comfortable life, and then we are able to pay back to the extent possible to our motherland. But those 4 women, they missed this opportunity. They left the world. Who is responsible? In the last 2 months, the children who were studying in government schools, ended up in hospitals. Not 1, not 2, not 3, more than 2,000 children ended up in hospitals because of the food poisoning. All of them are government schools, including Triple IT Basar. The Basar is the abode of goddess Saraswati. So what's happening to the state and what's happening to the country? This is what I wanted to tell you. The state of Telangana has come because of the sacrifices of people like you. Most of you may have sacrificed, most of you have definitely sacrificed your time, energy, and so on and so forth. Time, energy, and money, and the thoughts. And 1,300 people have committed suicide, have immolated or ended their lives for the sake of Telangana. And today, even today, while we speak here, in the morning, yesterday, in front of Usmania University Arts College, the students have gathered, and one of the students again tried to commit suicide. Why? Because the notifications are not being released at the right time, and the papers that are set by the examiners are out of syllabus for the constable examination. Just imagine, why did we get the state to have a bright future for all the people? And today where we are, again people are immolating themselves. Almost 330, not 335, so far 5,000 farmers in the last 8 years in Telangana, 5,000 farmers, one or other way have died. And government, on the other hand, is claiming that they have best schemes in the world. Raitu Bandhu, best schemes in the world. How much did they spend? 50,000 crores in the last 8 years. 50,000 crores. And you know, these 50,000 crores, if you're all most of you are technology people, if you analyze where these 50,000 crores have gone, there are 60 lakh farmers in Telangana. Out of 60 lakh, 5 lakh got 40,000 crores. 5 lakh farmers got 40,000 crores and 55 lakh farmers got just 10,000 crores. You see the skewed distribution of the data. So this is what is happening. Now in most of the schools, I'm coming back to education and again, because you're all here because of education. So in most of the schools, even today in government schools, we don't have textbooks. We don't have uniforms. The school buildings are rickety. They are about to fall. And there are no toilets for the students. Even if there are toilets, there is no maintenance of toilets. Nobody cleans the schools. Morning, I'm staying with Hari Maroju in Detroit. Morning, Hari shared a document of this county's taxes. The total taxes are collected for that month are $9,026, out of which almost $3,000 are spent on school and $3,000 are spent on the operation of the county. Now, coming back to our home, in Telangana, 2.5 lakh crores is the budget of the state, and just 8,000 crores are given to education. We have more than 25,000 schools. Just 8,000 crores are given to education. And higher education, even today, they are dying for. Higher education means like all the universities and the polytechnic universities and all the technology institutions. Even today, they are dying for money. There are supposed to be 3,000 professors in Telangana. You know how many professors are there? Just 800. In a place called IIIT Basa, 169 professors are to be recruited. You know how many professors are there? 19. Where is 165 and where is 19? Now coming back to health again, the government on the very first day of formation of Telangana, the rulers of Telangana have promised that they will build all great hospitals and then make hundreds of Usmaniyas and then Gandhi hospitals. And even today, the ceiling is falling in Usmania. Usmania is a famous hospital. Gandhi hospital, the drainage is clogged. And I know how drainage is clogged. I went to Gandhi hospital. I was additional DGP. I went to Gandhi hospital as a patient. When I got COVID-19, I straight went to Gandhi hospital. So doctor said, sir, please don't use this toilet because it is clogged. It is one of the super specialty hospitals in the state capital. Imagine. In Mahatma Gandhi Memorial Hospital, those of you who know about the terrain of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, the place called Warangal, the Mahatma Gandhi Memorial Hospital is a super specialty hospital, and one patient joins the hospital and then there are no beds, and then this patient is made to sleep on veranda, and a band of bandicoots come and then bite him, and then he dies of excessive bleeding. He doesn't know what was happening to him. And in labor wards, snakes come. And 3 days ago, in a place called Suryapet, the women were operated upon, 10 to 12 women were operated upon, and then they were made to sleep. After operation, women are supposed to go to intensive care units where there is a sterilized atmosphere. You know where the women were made to sleep? They were made to sleep on the floor of a hospital because there are no facilities. You might as well think, look, India is a poor country, Telangana is a poor state, so we have no money. No, 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 no. 2.5 lakh crores is not an ordinary budget for any state with the size of Telangana with 3.77 crores of population. 2.5 lakh crores is not an ordinary budget. The priorities of the rulers are wrong. That is where I am coming to. That is where the people again, and the people who spoke just ahead of me, they said again and again that with 1,000 crores, what not could I do in the schooling system? Imagine 2.5 lakh crores if they are placed. If you have the control of 2.5 lakh crores, what all the miracles you can do in every sector, not just in education. You can distribute land to poor people, 1 acre at least each to every landless household. We can build homes for all those landless poor people. You know, after I joined Bahujan Samaj Party, after I gave up my job of Indian Police Service, even though I had about 6.5 years of active service left, still I thought it doesn't worth it, because the rulers are eating away the public money. Rulers are building their palaces. Rulers are squandering the valuable opportunity that is given by the people of Telangana to them. So I thought it doesn't worth it. You should not waste time again and again. So I thought I just called it quits, and then I joined the job. I joined the politics. So ever since I joined the politics, I have been on yatra. I have traveled for about 17,000 kilometers, more than 17,000 kilometers in Telangana. Visited about 800, nearly 800 villages, and may have physically addressed lakhs of people. Lakhs of people. I never stayed in air-conditioned tents, my dear friends. Some of the politicians in Telangana are traveling every day, and then they are giving 1,000 rupees to people and 1 liquor bottle to come to their meetings. And whenever they have to make night out, they are staying in the air-conditioned tents and then cushy beds. No, we don't. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to touch the real heart of Telangana, or real heart of India for that matter. So when I went there, I met many ladies, many old ladies, living like, living a very secluded life and a very neglected life. And at least 20 to 30% of the poorest of the poor people, they have no homes. If there is a hailstorm, or if there is a gale, or if there is any tufan, and all these homes are going to go away. And our rulers came up with a scheme called double bedroom scheme. They promised 2.5 lakh homes in the last 8 years. They promised it in the very first year itself. 2.5 lakh homes for the poor in the first phase. You know how many homes they have delivered so far? 20,000 homes only. You know what is outlay for this project? 16,000 crores. 16,000 crores is the annual outlay, and then so far they have completed only 20,000 homes. And what happened to the rest of the homes? They are lying dilapidated. And 50% of the, not 50, not even 50, at least 20 to 30,000 homes are completed, but they are not being allotted. You know why? Our rulers believe that if these homes are allotted now, the voters will not be impacted. So they are playing on recency effect. They want that if these homes are allotted just at the nick of the moment, just before the elections, these people are going to remember this and vote for them in the politics. This is what is happening. 13 lakh old women are still waiting for pensions. Earlier, when Telangana was a reality, even when United Andhra Pradesh, undivided Andhra Pradesh, employees used to get salaries right on day one. Today, you know what date all the employees get their salaries? 13 to 18. From any month, 13 to 18. So what happened? Well, the date of Telangana in 2014 was 60,000 crores. That was the state debt. You know what is the debt today? 5.4 lakh crores is the debt on the state of Telangana. Then where did this money go? This money did not go into education. This money did not go into health. Then where did this money go? This money went into projects. What are those projects? Irrigation projects, lift irrigation projects, then other irrigation projects, Mission Bhagiratha projects, roads, and this money went into farmhouses. This money went into widening the roads that lead to rulers' farmhouses. This money went into the command centers for police. This money went into police cars. This money has gone into secretariat building, wherein we had a very good secretariat that was not even 20 years old, that was demolished. And now a secretariat is being built in Telangana with the cost of 1200 crores. Not one, not two, 1200 crores. A police command and control center is being built in the heart of Hyderabad with, you know how much the cost? 1100 crores, 1000 to 1100 crores. Is it required for a state where 30% of the people who are living landless and at least 30% of the poor have no homes, and all the assigned lands are being grabbed from poor people? Why? Because government has no money, grab these assigned lands and auction them, give it to real estate agents and make money and run the state. This is what it is. And what happens to the students? What happened to, there are 1.9 crore people who do not know how to read and write in Telangana. Not one, not two, 1.9 crores. And even today we are celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. That is 75th year of independence, and you have half of your population is not independent from the illiteracy and poverty. Where are we heading to? That's the reason why I thought the politics are not heading in the right direction. Whether it is Congress or TRS or BJP, whichever reason, like, you know, even the government of India is also doing the same thing. Yesterday we saw a news that NDTV, one of the independent television companies, New Delhi Television, one of the most reputed television companies, is being taken over by Adani Group. So now there is report by an independent credit rating agency that Adani Group will lead India into debt trap. They are getting loans from every possible financial institution where your parents, my parents, you and I, all our friends and all the Indians store their or save their money. So those financial institutions shamelessly, they are extending loans to these big corporate houses, but they are not extending loans to farmers. They are not extending loans to lower middle class people. So these corporate houses are trying to take over the public sector companies. Some of you may have worked in SAIL, some of you may have worked in, you know, ECIL, some of you may have worked in Bharat Electronics Limited, so on and so forth, or many public sector undertakings. Today, these corporate companies are taking over these private sector, the public sector undertakings. As a result, your affirmative action once forever is gone. Poorest of the poor, socially marginalized sections, all these people will never be able to get jobs once these corporate companies come into picture. Then what does Constitution say? Constitution talks about right to equality, equality of opportunity. Constitution talks about religious freedom. All these things are waning away. They are fading away fast. That is where your role comes into picture. That is where my role comes into picture. That is where all of us have to think about take a step back and think about motherland, my dear friends. If we keep mum, if we keep silent, our motherland is gonna go into stone age once again. You know, all the independent institutions which are supposed to be sacred, which are supposed to be immune from political influences, have been corrupted. Today, ED means Enforcement Directorate. Enforcement Directorate is being used to arm twist all political opponents. Today, CBI is being used to chase all the political opponents. Today, police forces are being used by the state to silence all the opponents and then to keep them in the prison. But this is not the democracy for which our founding fathers sacrificed for. This is not the state of Telangana for which the martyrs have laid down their lives. That is the reason why I have joined the politics. We have promised that we will give land to all the landless. Even if it is 1 acre, we will give land to landless. We have promised that we will remove disparities, and then we will give equal opportunity to all those people who are deprived of this opportunity. Today, if you take example of Kaleshwaram project, the Kaleshwaram project, the outlay in Telangana is 1.15 lakh crores, not crores, 1.15 lakh crores. You know, all these contracts were taken over by or were given on a platter to only the corporate companies. Then what happens to the backward classes? What happens to the poor among the so-called upper classes? What happened to the scheduled castes? What happened to the scheduled tribes? What happened to the religious minorities? What happened to women? So they have no say whatsoever in all these contracts. But we said we will distribute these contracts. We will make people eligible to fight the contracts, to get the tenders, and then participate in the growth of this state of Telangana or country. Now, we have one scheme called Manavuru Manabadi. Manavuru is our village, Manabadi is our school. So government came with an ambitious project called Manavuru Manabadi, to repair all the government schools. The total outlay was 7,200 crores. 7,200 crores, all the tenders were awarded to the shell companies owned by only one company, that is Mega Company, and that tender document was prepared in a star hotel. Morning one tender is given, evening same tender gets cancelled, another tender is released, and government has put a condition that only the people who have turnover of 180 crores can only participate. Is it possible for the poorest of the poor people to show the turnover of 180 crores in a year? So this is how the obstacles are placed in front of the poor people. But we said, if you vote us to power, we will ensure that every community, every social stratum gets equal opportunity to participate in government contracts. We said, if you vote us into power, we will ban all the belt shops. You know what is belt shop? Belt shops are like the liquor kiosks in all rural areas. Like Ganga was sharing his story that one of his friends died because of excessive drinking. In Telangana, just an example, in Telangana, the government has earned 35,000 crores in a year by selling liquor to people. Not one, not two, 35,000 crores. On one hand, so anyway, I'll go to next impact. What has created, what these 35,000 crores have created? I went to a place called Varangal. I went to a market yard where I met 100 women, coolies basically, laborers, who were cleaning the farm produce so that it can be bought by the commission agents. And most of these women did not have Mangal Sutra, the sacred thread you get after marriage. So I asked these women, why is it there is no sacred thread? Why is there is no bindi on your forehead? I said, we lost our husbands. Then I asked them, why did you? 40 women said, out of 100, 40 women said, we lost our husbands. And they were in the middle age. Then I asked them, why did you lose your husband? You used to be very young. Sir, our husbands died because of excessive drinking. 100 women were interviewed, 40 said they lost their husbands. So 40% lost their husbands. Most of them died because of excessive drinking. One, cirrhosis. Second, accidents. Third, they didn't get money to drink. That's why they committed suicide, because they got so addicted. So these 35,000 crores state might be getting, but people are losing lives. It is no less than a Holocaust. It is no less than a genocide where poor people are dying like hell. So we said, if you vote us to power, we said we are going to control all these belt shops, and then instead of belt shops, we are going to provide milk shops so that you can drink milk, you can get a nutritious food, you can get all these things, and then you can be healthy. So we also said we are going to provide schools. Like today, I really congratulate a boy. Where is Dhruv? The boy who sang, I think he went away. So I think his parents are here. Yeah, I think they went away. Okay. So, but anyway, I congratulate that boy. So we said, if you vote us to power, we are going to provide Mandal level international residential schools, Mandal level residential schools with international standards. It doesn't cost much money. You know what is the difference between a normal government day school and the residential school? Just 20,000 rupees per child per year. 20,000 rupees per child per year is nothing. But government is not interested to spend that money on education. One chilling fact. Our chief minister, ever since he was anointed, ever since he sat in the chair of chief minister, has never entered a university. it is not just chief minister, even education minister, except Triple IT Basar, which she entered after 15 years of, after 15 days of strike, they have not visited even a single university. See the interest of rulers in the education. Because if they think if people study, people go to colleges, if people become successful, there won't be any labor available in their farms. There won't be any labor available, cheap labor available to run their, to drive their tractors, to work in their homes as domestic helps. This is the inference I draw from the negligence of the government on education sector. Friends, just 15 days ago, I was in Dubai. Dubai is a place, or Middle East is a place where 15 lakh Telangana people are working. And I don't know how many people who are there in the US. But when I see, when I look at you and when I remember the faces of Dubai people, there is so much of difference. You're living in two different worlds. In Dubai, the Telangana people, they work as janitors. They live in the compartments, worse than the train compartments. At least compartment, there are 2 toilets. In these compartments, there is only 1 toilet and 30 people live in lower berth, middle berth and upper berth. And outside the temperature is 45 degrees centigrade to 50 degrees. And there are sandstorms every other day. And they get how much? 1000 dirhams or 1400 dirhams. Each dirham is equivalent to 22 rupees. And some of them, they lost passports. Some of them, their visitor visas did not get converted to the working visas, and they lost contact with their employers. And they are living like slaves. And one of the notable features among all these people is they have no education. They are either dropouts, or they are dropouts from the 4th grade or 5th grade or 12th grade or degree, and or they did not have education at all. They don't know anything. They don't know where to go to embassy. And when they die because of illness, and they have no means to send their dead bodies back home, they take one small pot and then they collect dirhams, and then they pay the money for the coffin, and they take the help of somebody and then send it to India. This is the tragedy of the people who dropped out from the system and then who do not have proper education. On the other hand, look at the US. You are like, I've been traveling from Boston to Detroit, and I've seen many people are living in a very, very comfortable life. But their families back home, when they were children, they lived in abject poverty. Day before yesterday, we were in Washington, D.C., and then I went to a gentleman's place to have a tea. And then when Venkat shared it with me, this is a colony, or this is a locality where Donald Rumsfeld or Dick Cheney, these are the people who are ministers of defense in different administrations. These are the people, this is the place where those ministers live. In the sidelines, in the same colony, we have a person who is a native of Jagityal, whose parents were agricultural laborers, and who acquired a palace because of his hard work. In Bloomington, I met a tribal person, and then he owns Audi Q7, not because of the commissions in contracts, not because of the illegal encroachment of public lands. He worked very hard and then acquired that Audi Q7, and he owns a nice palace. I met a gentleman there are 11 children in his family. He's from Nalgonda, and he's a 6th child, and today he's a ace stockbroker in Wall Street. And he owns a nice palace, and then he owns 2 cars, and then his children go to different pre-med colleges, so on and so forth. Why can't we replicate these stories in India? Is it because we don't have money? No, we have money, but our rulers have no heart. Our rulers have no vision. Their only vision is to build their empires, build their properties. Our chief minister, in 1 year, he had spent 79 crores roughly to travel from a government office to his farmhouse and back. 79 crores to travel from his farmhouse to government office and back and forth, 79 crores. And in the last 8 years, he had spent 500 crores to guard, 500 crores of public money to guard the farmhouse. And today, sadly, in a state like Telangana, owning a farmhouse has become a fad, has become a fashion. And people are going to any extent to own a farmhouse. It has become a status symbol, wherein it should have been a status symbol to be a PhD scholar. It should have been a status symbol to speak good English, to speak good Russian, to speak good Japanese, wherein it should have been a status symbol to be an ace coder or ace programmer at a very young age. This should have been a status symbol. But we have a wrong status symbol today. It is all because of the rulers. Today, liquor is more freely available than textbook in the classroom. I went to a place called Nagaram at 7:30 during my yatra, and I found 9th graders totally intoxicated. How do you comprehend this kind of thing? Ganja is entering in a big way. We used to talk about only Punjab, that Punjab is totally full of drugs. Today, Ganja is entering into Telangana and Andhra Pradesh in a big way from different places, and people are getting addicted, and nobody is paying attention. So, friends, this is the status of Telangana. That's why we wanted to stop all this. That's why we wanted to go for clean politics. It is not it is not the politics of hegemony. It is not the politics to control the resources. Only a few controlling all the resources. It is not for the politics. Should not be for making the rich richer and poor poorer. And politics is not for, should not be for promoting hatred among different religions. Last week there were almost a communal riots in Hyderabad city because one of the MLAs said, he passed a very inappropriate comment on another religion, and suddenly there were communal riots. And people are playing with the emotions of the politicians are playing with the emotions of the rulers, people, the common people. So politics should not be for promoting hatred. So that's why we wanted to bring the alternative politics into the fore and lead from the front. Come what may, our rulers have very deeper pockets. They have 50,000 crores because they have amassed all this money because of different contracts or ill-gotten contracts, because of the nexus with the criminals, nexus with the white-collar criminals. But today we want to challenge all that. Today it is a fight between David and Goliath. So that's why the Davids must win in this fight. We cannot let it go just like that, because it is a future of our children which is at stake. It's not just one, not two, crores of children, not just in Telangana, all over the country. That's why we wanted to raise the curtains for a new brand of politics in Telangana. That's the reason why I gave up my job, and then we have been traveling in the in the state quite extensively, and that is the reason why I came here to share my ideas. And then I'm here for a specific purpose to seek your solidarity, seek your great ideas, translate your love for motherland into a concerted action, translate your affection to your people back home into an action which leads to a better future, a future that can be solid, a future that can be safer, a future that can give equal opportunity irrespective of caste and creed, irrespective of a geographical position. So today I am here to seek your support in building that future for the children of Telangana and India and other states as well. So with these few words, I am once again grateful to all of you for finding some precious little time to share your thoughts and then focus on what is being transpired here. I have no words to thank you once again. Thank you very, very much. Jai Bhim and Jai Bharat. Thank you.
It's been great meeting you, sir. We covered a lot of topics across a broad spectrum. So thank you so much for your time. I know Raya and Venkatanda have been squeezing you like anything, but thank you for making this tour and coming to meet us in Kent. Thank you so much. Now we'll have a Q&A. We'll start Q&A. We'll start the Q&A. Hello. The First, I want to have a request, Raju Brahmandabedi.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll hold. Okay, you hold both.
Oh, probably I don't need the mic.
No, you have to.
No?
Yeah, both.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Raju Brahmandaberry. How many of you know Nelson Mandela? Yeah? Of course, he's a person we should remember. Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon that is going to change lives. We are all here smiling ear to ear because we have given one thing a lot of importance, and one field that we have given a lot of importance. That's education field and education. Our parents have realized, hey, I have to give the best education to my kids. They might not have been educated, but still they have provided all the resources to make us educated, to make us better informed. If there is one profession, if there is one field that requires a lot of respect, is education. This is what I believe in. I'm a son of a teacher. I am a brother of a teacher. I am a brother of a teacher. Yes, I strongly believe in that profession. And this is what I believe. A person who can bring reforms to the education and bring smile to their faces, he can reform anything. Yes, a person who gives importance to education can reform anything. A man behind a million smile can bring that smile to billions of people, and that person is Dr. Praveen Kumar. I didn't get any information about Praveen Kumar, sir, not from movies or Purna or anyone else. Let me tell you, I am a proud student of BC Residential School in Telangana, which was under Dr. Praveen Kumar as a secretary. Still, how did I get that information? 2 months ago, just 2 months ago, I happened to talk to the principal of that BC Residential School that I went to. For 4 hours, out of 4 hours, the conversation we had with our principal, 2 hours was spent on Dr. Praveen's sir's efforts in bringing up the most important education to the underprivileged. He doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to do that when he is just 6 months away from getting to the top brass position in Telangana. He did it out of just respect one thing, because he wants to bring in that reforms that we all fought for, that we all dreamed of in Telangana. As Dr. Praveen sir said, unfortunately, the Telangana that we dreamed of, the Telangana we fought for, our martyrs, so many, is not going in the right direction. Unfortunately, let me tell you why. My uncle is right here. I asked him when he said, I wish we shouldn't get Telangana. I was so surprised to hear from a hardcore Telanganite. He's a teacher, by the way. Uncle, why are you saying that? I'm a teacher, I'm disappointed. I'm a teacher, dejected. This is a bad trend. This is a dangerous trend when a teacher is dejected, when a teacher is disappointed, because a teacher cannot bring that smile to the people. So this is the time a leader is born. Leaders doesn't born when the things are normal. A leader doesn't born when the things are okay. But our golden Telangana is going in the wrong direction. And this is when a leader like Dr. Praveen Kumar sir is needed, and we all need to support him. Thank you, Praveen Kumar sir, for going in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Raju. Thank you very much.
Folks, I think we're almost at time, and myself, I have to drive back to Grand Rapids 2.5 hours. So please, please be precise. And next we have Dr. Vamshi Garu for the next question, wherever he is.
streaming కోసం.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Vamshi Kurivi. I'm just curious, you have so many ideas. Why did you actually choose BSP? And to be honest with you, as far as I know, I don't have a very good opinion of Maya.
Okay.
So I want you to be successful, but I'm not going to do why you choose that path.
Great question. Thank you. I chose BSP because it is firmly based on the idea of constitutional values of justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity, which are extremely important for any nation to grow inclusive and grow powerful. So my ideas firmly align with the ideas of the party's ideology. Much before the decision to retire voluntarily, or quit the service, I scanned through all the parties for the ideologies and then their ideas for nation. And some parties, to my surprise, I don't want to name them. Some parties, they promised moon, and then they, after getting into the power, then they promised moon for themselves. So they built a moon for themselves, in fact. So, and then they are just, they are just ruling the masses by intoxicating them. They have no ideology at all. And some parties are based on the idea of division, dividing the society on the religious lines, or promoting a false nationalism. I didn't like that. So I want India to be very inclusive. I want India to give equal opportunities to every caste and every creed and every geographical space. So, and then I want Indian constitution to be respected and protected and implemented in letter and spirit. And Bahujan Samaj Party, for me, to happen to be, it's a national party which has 39 years of history, and it is firmly based on the idea of social justice, particularly the constitutional values of justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. I really like them, and then I will die for those values. And that's why I...
Thank you. Next we have
Thank you, Praveen. Very nice speech. I was really amazed with the numbers you were sharing, and all of them struck me very hard. The one that really was very shocking was the government is spending 8,000 crores out of a 2.5 lakh crore budget.
Yes.
Right? So that's a very, very shocking number. Because if you see, the whole growth of Telangana is coming from education. All these IT software exports that are happening out of Telangana, that is only due to education. So if I remember, if I know the numbers, like 80,000 crores are coming from only software exported and hardware. So if 30% of our revenue is coming from education-related industry, and if the government is spending only 3%, 2%, that is very, very pathetic. And I think we need to highlight this. I mean, even I think Meeran, you talked about some incidents that happened. You also talked about the hospitals and
Schools.
Campus, which were
Yeah. There's a recent incident. Today there are a lot of protests in Telangana because, please go ahead. Yeah.
So what happens is, these are all inundating us. These are all negative things that are hitting us. Especially me, I observe a lot, I kind of read a lot. So, but I still am hopeful. See, if I compare our state with Odisha, Naveen Patnaik has been voted 5 times. And there is no ED, there is no CBI inquiry. Even nobody can step into Odisha. And he hardly can speak Oriya itself. His wife is from Maharashtra. So there is a hope. The state next to us, there is a hope. So I wish you will become Naveen Patnaik of Telangana.
Oh.
Thank you.
Actually, just to build upon your argument, the contribution of services sector, that includes software as well, to state GDP is 54%. And the money that goes into education, which is the bedrock of, which is the foundation of services sector, is just 8,000 crores, which is not even 3 or 4%. So, and then out of the 8,000 crores, 6,000 crores go into salary of employees in the education sector. The only 2,000 crores or 3,000 crores into in infrastructure. You can imagine what is going to happen. One of the important reasons why our rulers do not want to invest in education is the gestation period in education is pretty long. It takes about 20 years for a person to become productive. But that becomes once he or she becomes productive, and he is productive forever. So that our rulers do not want. They want to give the money directly to the people, or build a huge palace and then said, I have built this palace for you. So that's the thing. So it's a very sorry state of affairs. That's one of the reasons I'm very passionate about education. As Raju has rightly said, this is going to transform the nation. Yeah. Yes, Vinod.
So I have one question. Elections are 18 months away from now.
Yes.
It happens to be straight in 2023 December, right?
I am not sure. They can be advanced as well. Our rulers are very jittery. They are on a slippery slope, and because there's so much of anti-incumbency in Telangana, people are feeling cheated. So it may not happen 2023. They might be advanced by 6 months. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So my question, simple question is, what is your formula or to introduce one line into equation to win a hearts of every community within your Telangana, because you're going to focus on Telangana? What's your one-liner formula or equation or principle that you're going to adopt so that you can win a hearts and you can be an ex-CM of Telangana?
Telangana for all. My one-liner is not even one-liner, one phrase, Telangana for all. So now Telangana is not for all. Telangana is for only one family. So we want to make Telangana for all. And second answer, if you permit, let's grow, period, together. Let's grow together. Not only one family grows, everybody should grow. What you see is just a growth, but it's not development. You call it as development only when there is, when only when there is inclusion. So everybody should be included in that growth story. Then only it is real growth. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Hello, sir. This is Muhammad Jamal from the Institute of
Wow.
And I'm really inspired with your vision, whatever you achieved. And I'm thankful to the people who organized here and introduced us to people like you. And in fact, I feel like India needs people like RS, PRS, RSP in every state, in every district, in every village. And I don't know how it can happen. India needs desperately.
It happens only when we have super spreader events like this everywhere. Yes, sir.
We want people like you to see them share. So, what is your plan, game plan, to make it happen?
Very tough question indeed. It's a very difficult question, but not very easy, and there are no easy answers. I can easily get into education and then make children as leaders, and then make them grow with a lot of values, like what Rai was, when Rai was narrating the story of a stepfather sexually assaulting a 9-month or 9-year-old girl. The root of that problem is, again, goes back to the values that we, blend in education. But leaders are also can be made in through education. But again, it takes a lot of time. But the shortest possible time, what can we achieve? Find the like-minded people and build a coalition with them and start working for a common minimum program. Design a common minimum program which is based on a purpose, which is based on the future of the country, not to hate each other, not the hatred, which should be based on a grand dream for a nation. Then only we can be united. And then you find such like-minded people in all the states and then build a coalition. We may not win in the first phase, we may not win in the second phase, but we will definitely win the third phase. So when we started mountaineering, somebody mentioned about world's youngest female to have scaled Mount Everest is from our institutions. When we started the journey, our children could not even go to a small boulder, girls particularly. But I was very particular that girls must scale Mount Everest, they too at a very young age. So then we started with boulders. Then slowly we went to some smaller hills. Then from there we went to snow-capped mountains. From there we went to Ladakh in winter. Going to Ladakh is an expedition itself. From there we went to Nepal. From there we took our children to Tibet. So in that journey, 18 people died. But our children said, no, we got the confidence now. We will not come back. We'll place Tiranga, that is national flag, on the Mount Everest, and also Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, architect of our constitution, on Mount Everest, and then only we'll come back. In that process, if we die also, it doesn't matter. So it happens gradually, but first step is very important. What I'm trying to convey here, so it is possible provided your intentions are clear, and then you're not willing to be, you should not be opening up, or you cannot be allowing others to buy you. So most of the leaders, first they make a beginning, slowly they lose the focus. I never imagined that Arvind Kejriwal will allow communal rights in East Delhi when Donald Trump was very much in Ahmedabad. So one hand, Donald Trump is addressing all the people in Ahmedabad, the great cricket stadium which Narendra Modi ji has built. On the other hand, East Delhi was burning and 45 people have died. And the chief minister of the state, instead of going to the place where communal rights were happening, he goes to Rajghat and then offers floral tributes. That is not what a leader should be doing. You should go to the place where the problem is. But that did not happen. I don't want these kind of leaders who chicken out just because there is a problem and there are longer perspectives. So you have to be tough. On one of our friends asked a question. He doesn't have a good opinion about Mayawati, but my impression on Mayawati is, as long as she was chief minister of Uttar Pradesh, she did not allow even a single communal right to take place. Not even a single. The land where Poolan Devi was shot dead, just because she was a woman who she took on the bandits of Chambal Valley, and she was shot dead. And in that land, one lady, she sat on chief minister's chair, and she ruled the state with iron hand and did not allow even a single communal right to take place. Almost all gundas have, they fled to Nepal to save their lives. So it requires a little bit of like-minded people to come together and then start the journey, and one day we will be successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So yeah,
I think
we have a question from Sujat. Good evening, Praveen.
Good evening. I'm good.
I'm from Hyderabad.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I've lived in the US for about 25 years.
Super.
And in fact, I went to St. Paul's School.
Oh, Narayanguda.
Yeah, Himalayan.
And
my mentor over there, I think you probably might know him from IAS service, Bhoja Rahul.
Rahul Vajja. Yes. Okay.
Bhoja was my mentor.
Oh, super.
So 2 years
I worked with him. He was our secretary.
Yes. And then his family, Boy
Yeah.
right? So,
The famous poet.
Yeah. So I can claim a childhood friendship and understanding the things that have happened with the community, the Bahujan community and all that. So I was exposed early to it. Having said that, part of my introduction, I guess my question to you is, when we watch NDTV, when we watch any of the other news channels, most of the clips, they are being heavily prefaced with an advertisement. And that almost is synchronous with what the shining Gujarat example was projected to us, to India, in 2012, 2013, leading up to the general election.
Yes.
Prime Minister Modi came to power. So it seems like a similar effort, where Telangana shining, or Telangana this, Telangana that. I was sitting in my chair, I almost fell off my chair, as they say proverbially, listening to the fact that 8,000 crores out of
2.5
lakh crores.
The alcohol sale accounts for 45 or 55,000.
35,000 crores
35,000
in a year.
in India. At least in Michigan, you know, when you play the lottery, they dedicate the extra money to schools. I use that as an example to
Yeah,
say,
it's a good
you
idea.
know, as bad of a vice it is, that still some good can come out of it. And it's pathetic that only 8,000 crores out of the 2.53% of that is given to education. So we don't hear that. Conversely, we're hearing this Telangana shining all the ads come on, right?
And
So our problem is not దానికి అడ్రస్ చేయడానికి ఎందుకంటే ఆ నెరేటివ్ చేంజ్ చేయబడుతుంది.
change it upside down. Big give.
How do you change the narrative for the popular people? Maybe have a media tsunami that
Yeah.
puts those numbers. People may not pay attention.
Yeah, I know. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Thank you very much for bringing this out. Yeah. On last June 2nd happens to be Telangana Formation Day. Our government has released Telangana #1, as you rightly pointed out, as you have pointed out, Telangana #1 ads in all the newspapers across the country. Bengali, Gujarati, all languages across the country. And you know what is the budget for that? 32 crores one day. And people don't pay even a 2 minutes attention on those advertisements. So if we come to power, we are going to stop all that. We are going to change all that and then bring all that money into education and health. That is our promise. We are going to bring that money to create at least 10 lakh jobs for the youth of Telangana who are dying like chicken in the villages, who are underemployed and they are ending their lives because there are no employment opportunities. And we are not going to allow that kind of reckless advertisement, reckless spending of money, and reckless propagation and propaganda of all those false models to the entire country. We are going to stop all that. We are going to call the bluff of these people. Thank you very much for asking this. That's a very pertinent question. Yes. Harigan.
My name is Harigan. So I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So Venkat said when I was talking, we have seen J. Lakshmana coming into politics. We have seen Jayprakash Narayan came into politics, but they were not successful. They were not successful. And also now we have Professor Kodandan sir, who is struggling to come up and be successful in the political, Telangana state. So I know you're retired and you are into politics now. So how different you want to be? If you want to be successful, right? You want to see your success and successful chief minister of Telangana, so that we can see a bright future in a Bangar Telangana. What we've been talking about. So what is your vision? How do you see that you will be successful? Even we have seen all this kind of cases we have been seeing that.
Good question, Hari. My answer to this is. I don't want to call J.D. Lakshminarayana or Jayprakash Narayan are failures, because they have been successful to some extent in their own way, because they did not come with the deeper pockets. They came with a legacy of being honest bureaucrats. But they took the decision to end their careers, bureaucratic careers, and then join political fray. It's not an easy decision though, particularly when you don't have big money. But having entered the fray, they should have continued. Jayprakash Narayan, he was MLA thanks to thousands of volunteers who worked for him in Kukatpalli, and he was MLA. And after that, Telangana became reality and should have continued. Then I don't know, for various reasons, he got really frustrated with the political system and then he gave up. But that should not be that is not the hallmark of a fighter. Then second is, still I respect him, we are in touch with him. Then J.D. Lakshminarayana, he should have continued. He realized that he is in a wrong party, and we'll be very happy if he joins BSP. So we will sail with him, and then there's no problem at all. So they should continue. Politics, win or loss, are very common. Peaks and valleys are very common in this political journey, because people's mind change and your opponent's strategies also keep changing. So, but you should be perseverant. you should maintain the same pace, or you should maintain the same amount of enthusiasm and energy. Then if you ask me about my vision, so my vision is to make Telangana, I don't want to, our friend has asked the best number one state. No, the most inclusive state, most informed state, most educated state, and most creative state in the country. So that is the idea. Most enterprising state in the country. Imagine, Israel is not even one half of Anantapur district or half of Adilabad district is Israel. And why is it? It has become, although it is surrounded by so many hostile neighbors, still it is surviving as one of the most successful countries in the world. Why is it happening? Our neighboring Bangladesh has so much of progress in education sector. Why is it we are not able to do the same progress? So we are going in Sri Lanka way rather. So Sri Lanka, Rajapaksa brothers, they have constructed so many palaces, and then they have taken so much of loans. And today Sri Lankan people are, buying 1 liter of petrol for 1,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees or whatnot. And the presidents had to flee the country, to save their lives. And we are going in a Sri Lankan way, wherein our rulers are constructing all palaces. Our rulers are, investing in advertisements. Our rulers are doing this, doing that, but not focusing on the basic human needs. And our rulers are raising a lot of loans. Telangana is the best example. For what? To construct the projects which are not very productive. See what has happened to Kaleshwaram. It is sunk. Now, because one flood, the entire Kaleshwaram comes to a standstill, and we don't know what is the quantum of loss in the recent incident that has happened to Kaleshwaram. Then what happened? So my dream is to make Telangana more inclusive. My dream is to make coding as a fourth language in Telangana. Let all Telangana people be coders. Why not? Because I have started it in our schools. I have started this in our schools, and then today thousands of our students know what is logical thinking, what is lateral thinking, what is coding, how to write a small program, what is Python, what is Scratch. All these things they know. Why not? Other children in the entire Telangana can be made as a coding nation. This is how you leverage on human resources. Why not? So that is my dream of Telangana. Thank you very much for asking this question. Yeah. Yes, sir.
For the last 20 years, Ireland has been doing exactly the same.
Okay.
Anyone who has time, energy, please, take a look at what Ireland has done to put a lot of money and effort in education.
Wow.
And now, where they were going almost into poverty, to 76,000 US dollars per annum is the per capita income. It is one of the best in the world.
Wow.
So just because all the techies, electronics engineers, and the coding, that's what you're seeing. 20 years, as you exactly said earlier, it takes half a generation.
Yes.
To get there. So my question in this context is, how do you want to enlighten our voters,
Correct,
where they are pretty much selling, their votes,
yeah,
and the value of the
yeah,
vote?
very good
Really
question.
getting from 2,000 to 5,000 to 10,000.
10,000.
Yeah, whatever it's.
In a by-election is 10,000, general election 2,000.
Yeah, the value of the word they
Yeah.
need to know and understand, right? It's not, the answer is not like, let them take from any party and vote what they want. But they should be able to check,
Yeah.
why are you coming?
Yeah, very good question, but it has two parts. One is, if you say don't take, then I'll be unsuccessful at this juncture, because I need my electorate to be well informed. And when you don't have education, when you don't have education, you will not have foresight to see the things which are not visible to your normal eye. So that's called as vision. So you get vision, you become a visionary even as a voter only when you are well informed, that is educated, properly educated. That won't happen in the first stage. So, but second stage, definitely, once people are educated, people are going to say, no, you don't give us money, then we are going to vote for anybody. In the first stage, Hujirabad, you see, Hujirabad election, KCR has pumped, the ruling party has pumped 1,000 crores, and another party, the opponent party, has pumped about 200, 300 crores. and still people voted for the opponent party. So people are slowly realizing how rulers are getting the money which is being dumped on them, or how with that money how people are buying their votes and then bringing liquor. And today as we speak here, there is a by-election scenario is building up in Telangana, and every day there are liquor parties in Munugodu Assembly constituency. Every day free liquor parties. You don't pay anything but take liquor and then enjoy. So first phase it is very difficult, but second phase definitely voters are going to reject these rulers, but it requires a little bit of education, and then that is what I am doing. So for the last 1 year I have been directly reaching out to people, because media is not in my control. All the media houses have been bought over by the politicians. So that's why I met Kavitaji yesterday. She made a YouTube channel. So we are encouraging lot of thousands of Kavitas in our villages. So you have your own YouTube channel. You have your own YouTube channel. You air your views. So don't fall for the false propaganda of the rulers, because every channel is owned by rulers. Today, entire Indian media is owned by three people. One is Ambani, second is Adani, third is Subhash Chandra of GTV network. Only three people are owning the entire news. Now, how is it? How can you get a dispassionate news? So that's why social media is very powerful. You gave us a lot of confidence, Kavitaji. So thank you very much for being the example. Oh, thank you very much, sir. Yes, Roy. I think. Yes.
There is announcement, please. So one announcement for Dr. Praveen Kumar, and the second announcement for Global NRI Forum. So for the Dr. Praveen Kumar, he is not spending money to poor people. And when he joined the BSP, there are over 2 lakhs people came, not a single rupee spent on moving people.
I did not give even a penny to people to come to my meetings.
So generally, whether it's yeah, so you can start getting food one table at a time, please. So for the Dr. Praveen Kumar, of course, there is an operational budget is required. He is playing a zero budget politics, but he has to move around for the water, for the food, and about 16 or 17 years ago, we invited Dr. Praveen Kumar for a lunch. And after lunch is over, my father-in-law said, where is your house? Banjara is at 2 weeks. I was actually pinching him. He said, no, sir. All those things, Telugulo, avanni Sanketu antaru. So he used to live in the police Eramanjali colony.
Very rickety government quarter,
Yeah.
where the drainage pipes used to get clogged every alternate day.
Yeah. So he's running a zero budget politics. There is some operational requirement is there. If you love him, like him to see a transformative leader, please donate him. And out of generosity, you can go to the website RSP for TS. The for is number 4, RSP for TS.org. So RSP number 4, TS.org. And the second announcement of Global NRI Forum. And it is a network of networks. We have no agenda, no caste, no religion, nothing. We want to connect like-minded people to empower, strengthen this kind of leaders. And if you're interested, you can go to, we have an email, Global NRIs, no apostrophe, Global NRIs Forum at gmail.com. You can search on the Twitter and the Facebook anywhere. And thank you very much again. And I think we have last question. Okay, thank you very much.
I think.
Thank you, sir. And then we have a vote of thanks.
I wish you all a happy Ganesh Chaturthi. So hope all your dreams come true, and then all those obstacles on your path to glory may be removed by Lord Ganesh. So on the similar tone, I thank Teja, and then our friend Dinesh Mutyam. I'm seeing you after so many years, and then thanks for the song, and then I thank Hari for being a wonderful host, for cooking us food, and Hari and Jyoti, and for sparing their space for us, for taking care of us very well, and for giving us company in the morning walks, and for driving us through, and then for showing us the enjoyment. And I will now thank Roy and Venkat I'll thank you only after I get into back to India flight. Yeah, I thank Mahesh, Ganga, and all other members of ANA, and Tripti, and members of ANA, and Hari, and everybody for making to. Anyway, it's not a formal vote of thanks, but I thought I should. I thank everyone who fed us for the last so many days.
I think Praveen sir already did my job, so I.
No. That was you have to do your job, Mahesh.
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
But I don't have to do my job, but I need to acknowledge a couple more members here. But Praveen sir, it was so inspiring to hear you. And it was our pleasure to meet with you. Because after the CM, Chief Minister, I don't know whether I'm going to meet with you or not. so good luck, sir.
No, one second. I'm not here to become a CM. I want you to make chief ministers of the state. You should feel that you have all the power to change the motherland. You understand what I'm trying to say? You should feel every day that I am running the state of Telangana. I am running my country. So then only it is a real democracy. So I am here not to grab all the thing and then sit in a place called Pragati Bhavan and enjoy the comforts of the the building. No, not at all. So you should be the CM.
ओके थैंक यू सर मुझे एक शेर याद आ रहा मजरूल सुल्तानपुरी का शेर है वो हर बार कांशीराम जी की रैली में भी ये शेर कहा जाता था तो मैं एक कहना चाहता हूँ मैं अकेला ही चलता था जानिए ए मंजिल मगर मैं अकेला ही चलता था जानिए ए मंजिल मगर लोग साथ आते गए और कारवां बढ़ता गया सर दिस इज टू यू प्रवीण सर द all members are going to join because you have the vision so people are going to join and you are going to take the caravan ahead. I also like to acknowledge, I think the dinner is almost ready, so you guys can take the dinner, but I'd like to acknowledge a couple members here. Thank you, Vinod Garu, for sponsoring the today's dinner here from the Mama Eats. And also Vinod Garu is helping us from the each and every step. So thank you for the leadership. Thank you, Teja, for hosting the session today. It's a very good host, and thank you for drawing. You have the place to stay here today. If you want to stay tonight, we will host you here. Again, thank you everyone for joining for tonight here. Tomorrow you all need to go to work, but it is a tremendous effort that we are planning this kind of event. And thank you for joining. And enjoy your dinner. But before you leave, we will take a one group picture so that this is the history we are making every day. We'll take a group picture so that will be great. So please join here. Again, thank you very much for joining today.
Let us all assemble at the podium.
చేసేయాల ఇంకా అయిపోయింది గ్రూప్ ఫోటో సో అదే ఓకే యా ఎండ్ ఇట్ అదర్వైజ్ ఇట్ విల్ లెంత్ ఓకే